Ships and Boats by Marilyn Greco. What you already know. We use energy every day. We use energy when we run, when we sleep, and when we breathe. Anything that can do work and cause change has energy. Solar energy is heat and light from the sun. Green plants get energy from the sun. Animals get energy from food. People get energy from many different kinds of healthful foods. Sunlight is a source of heat. A source is a place from which things come. Fuel is something that is burned to make heat. Heat moves from hot places to cool places. A conductor is something that lets heat move easily through it. Metal is a good conductor of heat. Light is a form of energy. It reflects when it bounces off something. A shadow happens when something blocks light. Other kinds of energy include motion, wind, sound, and electricity. In this book, you'll read about boats and ships. What do boats and ships have to do with energy? People use different kinds of boats. People also use different kinds of energy to move boats and ships through water. On the water. Have you ever been to a lake, a large river, or the seashore? If you have, you probably saw ships and boats in action. Ships and boats come in all shapes and sizes. There are small canoes, medium-sized tugboats, and huge oil tankers. All boats, no matter what size, need energy to move through water. This cruise liner was a passenger ship. It has several decks or levels. It carried several thousand people. Muscle power. People began making boats more than 10,000 years ago. At first, they made simple rafts. Then people found a new way to make boats. They carved out the trunks of trees to make long, narrow boats. These early boats, or canoes, needed energy to push them through water. People powered these boats using their own muscle power. People pushed with wooden poles or rowed with oars. They could use their boats to hunt, fish, and carry goods from place to place. Muscle-powered boats are still used today. Some people use these boats for fun. Other people use them for work. People enjoy using canoes, rowboats, and kayaks. Sometimes fishermen use these boats. Muscle-powered boats can be used as emergency craft. They can be used by lifeguards to rescue swimmers who might need help. Sailing ships. As time passed, people discovered that wind power could be used to move boats. People invented sails to capture the wind. Sails are large sheets of cloth. The cloth is attached to a long pole called a mast. Sailboats can travel more easily than boats powered by muscles. Sailboats can also move more quickly than muscle-powered boats can move. Many ancient peoples traveled using wind-powered boats. The ancient Egyptians used boats with sails. The Greeks and Romans used them too. Later, European explorers started using sailing ships to travel to other parts of the world. They also used their ships to bring back goods from faraway lands. We call the ships they used cargo ships. The steam engine was invented in the late 1700s. In the 1800s, people started using steam engines to move boats. The first steamboats used paddle wheels. These big wheels could move the boats through the water. Unlike sailboats, steamboats could move quickly without wind. They could even move against the wind. People burned a fuel, such as coal, to boil water. This made steam. The force of the steam turned the paddle wheel. Later, people made a smaller and better kind of paddle. It was called a propeller. Steam power changed travel. It allowed many people to travel long distances. Ocean liners. Ocean liners were built starting in the 1840s. These boats were made to carry many passengers. These ships were called liners because they had regular routes or lines. Ocean liners could travel long distances. They could cross the Atlantic and Pacific Oceans. They could travel from one continent to another. These large and fast ships could carry more than 1,000 people. In the 1920s and 1930s, people traveled in ocean liners for fun. People kept building larger and faster ocean liners. In 1934, the Queen Mary I was built. At that time, it was the largest ship ever built. It could carry more than 2,000 people. Most ocean liners used steam engines for power. Some had diesel engines. These engines burned diesel fuel. Boats at work. Some boats are used for work. There are many kinds of working boats. There are large oil tankers. There are strong tugboats. There are ferries. There are lifeboats. Today, most working boats use diesel fuel for power. Oil tankers have a big job. They can carry up to 500,000 tons of crude oil. The oil is shipped to refineries all over the world. Crude oil is turned into fuel, such as gasoline. This fuel can be used for cars, boats, and airplanes. Sometimes 2 or more tugboats are needed to pull a very large ship. Tugboats are kept in large ports and harbors. Their job is to push or pull large ships. They help ships get in and out of harbors. People use lifeboats for work too. Lifeboats are often kept on bigger ships. They are used to save people from drowning. Ships at war. From early times, people have used ships in war. The ancient Greeks and Romans used warships to fight battles at sea. Today, many countries have navies. Navies have large warships. Some warships carry soldiers and goods from place to place. Other warships carry weapons. Aircraft carriers are huge ships that carry airplanes. Airplanes can take off from and land on the decks of aircraft carriers. Warships are powered in many ways. Steam, diesel, and nuclear power move these ships. Battleships were used during World War II. This picture shows a famous German battleship called the Bismarck. This ship was sunk in 1941 after a battle that lasted many days. The wreck of the Bismarck was found in 1989 at the bottom of the Atlantic Ocean. Above the waves. Over time, people tried to find ways to make boats faster. They invented the hovercraft and the hydrofoil. These boats do not float in the water. Instead, they float just above the water. Usually, they use gasoline engines. Most ships need to push water out of the way to move through it. A hovercraft blows air down onto the water. It floats above the water on this cushion of air. This way, it does not need to push water out of the way. It moves along very quickly. Hydrofoils are similar to hovercrafts. They are lifted off the water by small water wings. The wings, or foils, help the ship move at great speeds. Instead of pushing lots of water out of the way, the foils only need to push a little water out of the way. Hydrofoils can move much more easily than a ship with a hull. Under the waves. Most ships are made to float on water. Submarines are made to sink. They travel under the water. How do submarines do this? A submarine has ballast tanks. When the tanks are filled with air, the submarine can float. When the tanks are filled with water, the submarine can sink. When the submarine needs to come up to the surface, the water is pumped out, and the tanks are once again filled with air. Most submarines are powered by nuclear energy. Some submarines are no larger than a car. People use small submarines to explore the ocean and discover how ocean plants and animals live. Some submarines are very large. They can be twice the size of an airplane. Large submarines belong to the world's navies. Such submarines have been used to sink or destroy enemy ships. They have also been used for spying. Boats for fun. Some kinds of boats have been invented just for fun. In the 1950s, boating became more popular. People started buying their own boats. Some people use wind-powered boats to sail quietly. Some hold sailing races. Motorboats can be used for racing or for relaxing. They are powered by gasoline fuel. For thousands of years, people have used boats. The first boats were moved by muscle power. Next, wind power was used. Sailboats and sailing ships were used for travel, trade, and warfare. Then people began to use steam engines. Today, people use all kinds of boats for many purposes. Some boats are still powered by muscles or the wind. Some boats use fuels, such as gasoline. People use boats for work and for fun. Boats are a wonderful invention.